Hello, hello. How are you all? Welcome to the Mary Tajitos channel. I'm Mary. For this class, I bring you a beautiful bag. Very affordable, quite elegant, made with fantasy stitch and single crochet. I'll show you all the details. We're going to be making the sides in a different way. See how great they look. The stitches are tight and uniform. It's an elegant, handmade, and very affordable bag. I used 560 grams of t-shirt yarn for it. Look, what a beautiful result. If you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed yet, I invite you to do so. And also activate the notification bell so that YouTube lets you know every time we upload a new video tutorial. I hope you'll stay with me until the end of the class, enjoy the process, and put it into practice. If so, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment as a sign of appreciation. Let's review the materials list, then the step-by-step instructions. We'll use the following materials. I have a measuring tape, scissors, 2 carabiner rings with a diameter of 3 centimeters, and 1 carabiner ring with a diameter of 2 centimeters. A 5-point knitting needle, 5 millimeters. This will be our main needle. A 3.5 millimeter knitting needle. We'll use this one to hide threads. A personalized plate with the channel's name. This one is optional. A bell for the tassel, 4 stitch markers, a magnetic clasp with spaces for sewing, and a tapestry needle. We will also be using a beaded handle or strap. You can buy it ready-made, or you can make it yourself. Buy pearls in the size you want, string them onto a nylon thread, and when you finish, attach the end caps. They can be rings, clasps, or round rings. You can make the handle as long as you want. I'm going to work with yarn from Pollux and Sumos. Here I have a 1 kilogram skein. This is a feather type yarn, extra elastic, with a strand 3 centimeters wide. It's an eco yarn, quite even, with a very nice finish. I'm not going to use all of it. In the description of this video, I'll leave you the exact amount that we're going to use for this project. The t-shirt yarn is already stretched and organized. Remember, this should be your first step before any project. We start by making a slip knot here. And we will crochet 43 chains. We have a loop on the hook, we yarn over and slip the loop on the hook, we yarn over and slip. This way, we will make the chains until we reach number 43. I've already completed the 43 chains. Now we're going to work the first row, and we'll do this with single crochet stitches. We're going to start in chain number 42, because 43 will be our turning chain. We turn the chain and insert the hook in the back, where the bumps are. We start here in the second bump. Right underneath we'll make the stitches. Insert the hook under the second bump. We yarn over. We lift it to the loop on the hook, yarn over, and pull through both. Here we have our first single crochet. We go under the next ridge. We lift, yarn over, and close. We go under the next one. This way, we're going to work single crochets, making 1 stitch under each ridge until we get here to the last one. We reach the last ridge, we pass the needle underneath. We yarn over and pull up a loop. Here we make the last stitch, and we make a chain in the air. We finish the first round with 42 stitches. Please check, we turn the piece. And here we will start working on round number 2. In this round, we will begin with the stitch pattern that we are going to use for this project. We have already worked on it several times here on the channel. It's a very beautiful stitch, known as fantasy stitch. To make this stitch, we need to combine 2 very basic stitches. which are the half double crochet and the slip stitch. We will insert the hook under the second chain. Notice that the first one is the turning chain. We go under the entire chain. And here we will make a half double crochet. In the next one, a slip stitch. In the next one, a half double crochet, slip stitch, half double crochet. Continue like this until you reach the last chain, where we will finish with a slip stitch. We always start with a half double crochet and finish with a slip stitch. We start with a half double crochet. Place the yarn over the hook. Make sure the skein is well organized. We go under the second chain. We yarn over again to add height. Here we have 3 loops on the hook. We yarn over and go under all 3. Here we have the first half double crochet. We insert the hook under the next chain. Yarn over, pull it forward. Here we have 2 loops on the hook. We slip the first one into the one we already had like this. And here we've made a slip stitch. We repeat the half double crochet, yarn over, place it on the hook and go under the next chain and finish the. We yarn over again, give it height. We have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all of them. We have a stitch, half double crochet, slip stitch, half double crochet. Now we will make a slip stitch. We go under the chain, yarn over and slip. We repeat half double crochet, arrange the yarn, go under the chain. Here we have 3. Yarn over and pull through all of them. Slip stitch. Let's do the last 2 stitches. Here we make a fantasy stitch. We place the yarn over the needle, make sure it's well organized and with the opening facing inward. We pass underneath. We take the yarn from here and lift it up. We have 3. Take the yarn again and pull through all 3. And here in the last one, we're going to make a slip stitch. We make a turning chain. We finish the second round with 42 stitches. This is how the stitches look on the back. Here we turn the piece and look at how it looks on the front. See how the strands are well organized. To achieve that, you need to place the strand very well on the needle and make sure the opening of the strand is on the inside. Here we finish with a slip stitch and start this side with a half double crochet. We alternated half double crochet, slip stitch, half double crochet, slip stitch until we reach the last stitch. We've already made the turning chain. Now we're going to work on row number 3 and we'll be making it with single crochets. Remember that we made the first row with single crochet. We work the second with a fancy stitch. And the third one, we're going to work with single crochet. We're going to alternate these 2 stitch patterns, the single crochets. We'll be making them by passing the hook through the center of the chain, taking only the back loop. We'll only do this on the single crochet row. Insert the hook into the second chain center. Yarn over, and here we make a single crochet. The center of the next one. This is how we'll work the stitches until we get here to the last chain. We reach the last chain, We go through the center, yarn over, and finish the last single crochet here. We make a turning chain, turn the piece, and here we will start row number 4, making a fantasy stitch. We start with the first stitch, which is a half double crochet. The next one is a slip stitch, half double crochet, slip stitch. We place the yarn over the hook, make sure it's well organized and with the opening facing down. We go under the entire chain. We yarn over, and here we close the stitch. We go under the next chain and make a slip stitch. We yarn over the hook and make a half double crochet here. We are going to repeat the whole process we did in the second round, combining slip stitch and half double crochet. We've reached the last 2 chains. In the next one, make a half double crochet. We place the yarn over the hook, and if it gets twisted like this, I'll explain how you can organize it. You take the yarn, and you do this. Look, I'm opening it. I lift the piece. And this way, I unscrew the yarn. I keep working. I place the strand over the needle. I go under the second to last chain. And here, I make a half double crochet, finishing with a slip stitch. I make a chain, lift it up, and turn the piece. This is how our crochet is turning out. Look at what a beautiful combination. We'll continue working the rows like this, alternating single crochet rows. A row of fantasy stitch, a row of single crochet, a row of fantasy stitch. I'm going to keep working, and I'll show you in a moment. I finished the height of the piece. Here, I made a total of 21 rows. I'll show you how the stitches turned out. Look how well organized they are, all even in the same size. Look how pretty. This is how the piece looks on the back. How will you identify the rows? We begin with the first row in single crochet, then the second in fantasy stitch, and the next in single crochet. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 21. Notice that we finished row number 21 with single crochet, so we start with single crochet and finish with single crochet to improve the finish. Let's take the measurements. Of length. It's 42.5 centimeters long and 23 centimeters wide. Now we're going to make the sides. We'll do this by attaching them to the piece, working them with the same combination of stitches. First, let's hide this leftover yarn. We tighten the stitch very well and pass the yarn under the stitches on the back side. With the help of a smaller needle, we pass it through here. I finished hiding the yarn here at the tip. Underneath, you can put a drop of silicone or make a simple stitch with needle and thread. To prevent the yarn from coming out, cut off the excess and hide the tip. And this is how you will hide all the following yarn ends. On this side, I've already placed the markers in the spaces where I'm going to work on the sides. I'll show you here how you're going to do it. Here, we have 42 single crochets. We're going to count 17 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We place a marker here. After the marker, we're going to count 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in the next one, which is stitch number 9, we place a marker. I should also have 17 stitches left on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. The 8 stitches we've left in the center will be the base of our bag, and the 17 stitches on each side will be the sides. Here, we will be working 4 rows with the same stitch combination that we used to make the body of our bag. What does that mean? It means that if you want to modify the piece, make it a little bigger, you'll be able to do it by adding more chains at the beginning. For example, we started with 42 chains, plus 1 for height. You can add 2 more, which means it would be 45 chains. Those 2 extra stitches you added will go here. So instead of leaving 17, you'll leave 18 and 18. In the center, you can leave the base the same with 8 stitches. And when working the sides, you'll increase it by 4 rows. Always finish with a row of single crochet. We're going to work on this first side. We position ourselves at the last stitch and make a turning chain. Notice that here we have the row of single crochet. We turn the piece, and now we're going to work the 17 stitches with the fantasy stitch row. We yarn over and go under the second complete chain. Here we make a fantasy stitch. In the next slip stitch, we adjust the yarn again. We adjust the yarn again and make a fantasy stitch. We continue with a combination of stitches until we reach the stitch where the marker is. We've reached the stitch where the marker is. We remove it. Here we make the final stitch, a fantasy stitch. We make a turning chain and turn the piece. Now we're going to work the row with a single crochet. We go under the second chain, right here in the center. We make a single crochet. We finish the row at the last stitch. We reach the last stitch. Look, here where you see the chain, we go through the center and make a single crochet, make a turning chain, and turn the piece. Here we're going to work another row with fantasy stitch, and the last one we'll do with single crochet. We arrange the yarn and go under the second chain. I finished the fantasy stitch row and also did the last row with single crochet, completing the 4 rows here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to cut the yarn here and pull it out. And we're going to hide this yarn under the stitches, just like we did with the previous one. I finished hiding the yarn. We're going to work on this side. I'll show you how to start it, and then you can continue working the 4 rows. You're going to repeat the same starting process when you begin on this side and when you begin on this side. You need to keep in mind that the fantasy stitches should be facing the front and not the back. We take the piece with the right side facing back, and we position ourselves here where the marker is. We pass the needle underneath. We take the yarn, and here we're going to make a stitch. This will simulate the turning chain. Now we take the yarn, place it over the needle, and pass it again through that same space. We take the yarn, here we have 3 loops on the hook, which will simulate the first half double crochet. We take the yarn and pull through all of them. The leftover yarn will be hidden under the stitches. We go under the next chain and make a slip stitch. We yarn over and make a half double crochet. Look here at how the first stitch turned out. This is how you will start on the next side. And here we are going to keep working until we reach the last stitch. At the last stitch, do a half double crochet here. Chain 1 for height, turn the piece, and this is how the first row of fantasy stitch looks. I'm going to keep working until I finish all 4 rows, and I'll also do the sides on this side. I've finished all 4 sides. This is how your piece should look. See its shape. Here, I finished with a single crochet row and I didn't cut the yarn. We're going to leave about 80 centimeters for sewing. Here, we make a turning chain and pull through. Before continuing with the sewing, if you're wondering, Mary, can we make this project with another material? Of course you can. You can use PIP cord, macrame thread, flat cord, polyester cord, or any other material you have available that works for crocheting. What you need to keep in mind is that the measurements will vary depending on the thickness of the material you use to make the piece. Now with the sides, it looks better, measuring 31 centimeters in height. We're going to do the stitching with a wool needle. We take the piece, and we're going to arrange it like this, placing one chain in front of the other. There are 17 stitches on each side. We're going to do a wrap stitch from top to bottom. Here we have the height stitch. We're going to pass the yarn. Look, we have one stitch facing the other here. And we're going to do the seam by taking the entire chain. On this side, like this. And from down here. So we're going to start by passing the needle under the little bump that's above the first stitch, here from front to back. We tighten it very well, take the yarn, and bring it back to this side again. And we pass it under the first chain. And the one ahead. We organize the yarn well. We tighten, bring the yarn to this side again, pass it under the next chain and the one that's in front. Here we arrange it very well. this is how our seam is turning out. Now let's do the last 2 stitches here. Here we tighten, but not too much, just so it stays nicely joined like this. We go under the last chain stitch in here, under this one. We finished sewing this side. Now we're going to join here. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We place a marker here. This is to know that the seam on this side should end here. That way we don't go too far to one side or the other. Here, the piece will be straight. Here we finish the one on this side, and here we start the one on this side. What do we do here? We're going to take the yarn, and we're going to pass the needle underneath here, through the first chain, right here in the first strand, and we're going to bring it up here, like this. Look, this is the first stitch. Here we take the second stitch, here the third stitch, and here the fourth stitch. We start the next stitch on this side, here, here, and here we finish. And under this strand, don't worry about this, because we're going to hide it as we make the stitches. So we arrange it well. We go under the next one, and here to the one that's on top. We tighten it very well. We go here, under this one, see that we're taking the top strand, and here, look here, where it is. We're going to make the last stitch on this side. We remove the marker, insert the needle into the first strand, and into the strand that's in front. We tighten it very well, and here we start the 4 stitches on this side that we're going to make. We're going to pass the needle under the last strand, where the marker was again. Look, here we have 1, 2, 3, and here the 4th, right here, which is the bump on this side, so it doesn't stay open. We go again under the strand where the marker is, and here on the bump that's right here. Here we've already made the join. Now we go under the strand and the one in front. We start here with the first stitch of the 4. We go under the next one, and here. Here in this one. This is the last one. We pick it up from here. This is how it looks. We move the needle inside. Here's the result of the join. Now we'll hide the yarn beneath the stitches. We'll repeat the process on this side. I'll show you how to begin. Cut the yarn, pass it under the little bump that's on top of the first stitch, and also pass it under the little bump that's on top of the first chain. Take the leftover yarn to the back and hide it under the stitches. So, once you have the yarn on this side, you go here, under the first chain and the one in front of it. See, I've already started the seam here. You go through this side, Tighten it, but don't pull too hard. Keep going. Continue along the edge this way until you reach the last stitch. So here, make the last stitch, then move over here to the little bump. Look, right here where it is. Reinsert the needle at the marker and continue on this side. They bring the thread inside and hide it. I finished the seam on this side. Look how the joins turned out. Nice and even. Not too tight, but snug. And here at the bottom, look how it looks. On this side, see that both sides turned out the same. And on the inside, we've already hidden the yarn under the stitches. What did you think of the side seam technique? Honestly, it's very practical and easy to do. The good thing is that you can also use it with any other stitch pattern you want to make. I mean, you can replace this combination with whichever one you like best. The sides ended up measuring 16 centimeters high by 8 centimeters wide. Now we're going to work a round of single crochet all around the piece to start giving the bag its final finish. We will be passing the needle here under these 2 strands. Here we have a round under these 2. Look, here is the round of single crochet. We will be passing under the little ridge here. We position ourselves in the fantasy stitch round, and we will be passing the needle over it. The single crochet round is where the 2 strands and small ridges are. So we go under the little ridge, under the 2 strands, under the little ridge, and here we start here. On a side, I'm going to start here, under this little ridge, which is on top of the fantasy stitch round. Here, I pass the needle through, grab the yarn, leaving a little piece to hide under the stitches. I raise it and make the first stitch here, keeping the yarn underneath. And I go through here where the single crochet row is. There are 2 strands on top. Here, I go under both. Under the little hill. This is how the stitches should look. They should always be placed in the loop underneath. On top of the fantasy stitch, here I make a single crochet. On top of the row of single crochet, where the little hill is, that's where I make a single crochet. We are going to continue working all along the edge until we reach this last stitch here. When you get to the join of the sides, you are not going to make the stitch on top of the seam. Instead, you skip to the next row. Here, which is the last single crochet, that's where you are going to make the next stitch. This also applies to the side on this end. You are not going to work here where the join is. Instead, you skip to the next stitch, which is where the single crochet row is. We make the last stitch here, passing under both loops. This is how we finish the single crochet row. Look how it turned out. Here, we worked around the piece, a total of 56 stitches. We continue working in the rounds, but these will now be slip stitches. We insert the hook into the center of the first complete chain, here, on this side. We insert the hook in the center. We yarn over, bring it forward, raise it to the height of the little loop that's on the hook. We have 2. We pull the first one through the one we already had, like this. We have a small loop on the hook and go through the center of the next chain. And here we fall. We place a marker here in the first stitch. We place a marker in the first stitch. Because we're going to work these rows here, we place a marker in the first stitch. Because here we continue working in a spiral. Then we go through the center of the next chain and make a slip stitch. Notice that we raise the height to the level of the little ear that's on the hook and slip. This is how our round of slip stitches is turning out. We're going to make the last stitch here. We start a second round. We remove the marker. Make the first stitch here and replace the marker. And we continue working. We make the last stitch here. This is how we finish the second round of slip stitch, and we're going to do one last round. We remove the marker. We work around the edge until reaching the last stitch. I finished the third round, so let's wrap it up. We cut the yarn and pull it out. We pass the needle under the second chain, back to front. We take the yarn and bring it to the back. We pass the needle again through the center of the last chain, from back to front. We take the yarn and bring it to the back. We adjust the stitch very well, making sure the chain is the same size as the others. This is how we finished off this round. We're going to hide this leftover yarn under the stitches, just like we did before. I finished hiding the yarn. We almost have the bag ready. This is how the slip stitch rounds look. If you want, you can do 3 or 4 rounds here, depending on how tall you want the bag to be. Now we're going to attach the lobster rings. We place them here where the sides are, right in the center. We pass it through here in the second one. We pass it through here in the second. Over here on this side, underneath the whole chain. In the top strand, at the center, we pull it out here. Once the rings are in place, we'll attach the clasp. We take the thicker part and place it in the center of the piece, right below the slip stitch rounds. Here. We make sure the clasp is well centered and we'll sew it with a needle and nylon thread. We pass it through the first space from front to back. Leaving a strand on this side to do the stitching. When we finish, we'll come back here again. This should come out of the space. We're going back, threading the needle inside this time. We repeat this process 3 or more times until the clasp is well tightened. Then we move to the next space, here at the bottom. We've already done the 3 stitches here. We're going to repeat this process in the next 2 spaces until we get back here to the first one. I finished sewing all the spaces. I brought the last thread here where we made the first stitch. Look, here are the 2 together. We're going to cut and make 3 little knots here. We secure it tightly and trim the excess. We place the other part of the clasp. We adjust the piece. We open it, and here we're going to do the same process. 3 stitches in each space until the clasp is well secured. We're going to make the tassel. For this, we cut 6 strands about 30 centimeters long. We take a smaller strand, place it in the center, and make 2 little knots. We cut the ends before attaching the tassel. Inside the bell, you're going to put fabric glue to secure it very well and insert it very carefully. A small spatula can help you. We tighten the screws. Here, I already have another bell ready. Let's match the 2 so they're the same size. Let's add the accessories now. We're going to be putting on this chain. We already have the bag ready. We finished the whole process. Let me show you the result. Look how the sides turned out. How beautiful! This is how the bag looks here on the back. On this side, look here at the base. And on the inside, look how spacious it turned out. If you want to add a lining, in the description of this video, I'll leave you the step-by-step instructions on how to do the process. The height ended up being 22 centimeters. The width at the base is 23 centimeters. And at the top, 19 centimeters. We've finished the class. Thank you for staying with me. I hope you enjoyed it and will apply what you learned. If so, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment as a sign of appreciation. If you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, I invite you to do so. And also activate the notification bell so that YouTube notifies you every time we upload a new video tutorial. See you in the next class. God bless you. Bye.